All right, in this video, we're going to kind of take you into the design studio and show you how to convert this 2D drawing into a 3D model using SketchUp. Now, if you like this type of material, this type of information, um, be sure to comment because I don't really know if a lot of people are going to like to see kind of the behind the scenes on the design side of things over just us actually building these items. So if you like to see more of the design studio and how we go about creating all of our woodworking plans and our 3D models, just leave us a comment. That you like this type of information, and we'll consider making more of these videos. These videos aren't as widely viewed, obviously, as our actual construction videos, but for me, as a designer, or maybe I'm wanting to design something, seeing somebody else do it is kind of interesting. And even though I literally have a architectural degree. That's what I went to school for, was architecture, and so I know a lot about designing and 3D modeling and all that stuff. I still like to watch other people's videos on the subject because sometimes you never know when you might pick up a tip or two. So, at any rate, this is a project that I have to do for a customer. This is a custom size sofa table. Now, these fence picket sofa tables, we do have another video on building this sofa table, but we do a lot of these sofa tables. And of course, we like to use our fence pickets because the material is fairly inexpensive and it lends itself well to this rustic look of the finished product. Now, this one, we've got to build it and we've got to paint it and finish it off. So we're going to show you that whole process in a separate video on actually building this sofa table. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and laid it all out here in my 2D software. I really like CorelDRAW for this type of work. Of course, if you have AutoCAD or some other type of CAD software, you could certainly do it in that. But I've just always used CorelDRAW when I'm doing my woodworking plans. I really don't know why, but I just always have. I'm quite familiar with it, and so away I go. I use CorelDRAW X6. So this is an ancient version of CorelDRAW. It's been around for literally probably a decade. I mean, CorelDRAW X6 has been around for a long, long time. So you don't need the very latest version of CorelDRAW. Like I said, I've had this for years and years and years. All right, so let's go ahead and open up SketchUp here, and we'll begin. I kind of switch back and forth. I kind of know in my head what I need to, but we've got our drawing here, our 2D drawing I might refer to for some dimensions. But we'll go ahead and begin our work. And the purpose of the 3D of this video is not really to teach you SketchUp per se. It's really just a kind of behind the scenes look at the process, and then if you like this process and this is something you want to use in your workflow, then you might look into other videos that actually teach you SketchUp. So our videos on SketchUp aren't really meant to actually teach you the program so much as it is to just show you the process. Okay, so when we're working in the 3D world, we have an X, Y, and Z plane, which you probably don't care about. But basically, what we're doing is we're going to begin building these components of our sofa table. So I'm going to switch to the right plane. So now I'm in the right plane. So I know I need a piece of wood that is 48 inches long and it's 2.5 inches wide. So I'll go ahead and type that in, and there's my little stick of lumber here. I know that my fence picket is 5/8 of an inch wide, and then I have to convert this into something they call a component here in SketchUp. It's one of my real nags. When we give an item a thickness, I feel like it should already be a component, because when we add something to it, if we don't convert it into component first, when we add something to it, then it's gonna, if it's touching, then it's gonna think the two are one, and that's almost never the case. So I know that probably didn't make sense, but that's okay. So anyhow, so now I'm going to draw my leg, and I know, again, I got to switch to the right plane. There's the right plane. So my leg, I know, is 2.5 inches wide, and it's going to be 35 inches long. And the reason it's going to be 35 inches long is because this customer wants a 36-inch tall table, and we can get two 35s out of one fence picket. So we're going to go ahead and copy this leg down to this side. Beautiful. Now, the whole thing on this particular one has to be 14 inches. 14 inches deep. So we'll grab our tape measure tool and type in 14. And then we'll grab this component here and we'll move it down to here. And I know it has to be 6 inches up from that. Okay. And so that is the either the, well, I guess this would be the back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab all these components and we're just going to slide them over here, make a copy of them. And then we are going to flip it around the red axis. I always when I'm rotating things and flipping things, it's always a guess what plane I actually want to do this on. So red didn't do anything, so that must leave green. Green didn't want to do anything either. So sometimes I'll just do it manually. So I just need to flip that around is all I need to do. Okay. And then I am going to move this right to here. And then I'm going to move it out 14 inches. And then I know that the distance from this point to this point, bingo, 14 inches, which is what we want. Okay. Now, this is 48 inches long, okay, total length, and that's what we wanted. So what I actually have to do then is move these in 5/8 of an inch. I kind of forgot that. So we'll do that all the way around. The other advantage to understanding our 3D models is you can really get a firm handle on exactly how all of these things are going to go together in the real world. I'm going to go ahead and draw out my side member here. That's 0.625. And we're going to make that a component. Okay, and then we're going to copy that down to here. And then we're going to spin this bad boy around. We'll grab both of those and copy those down to here. Okay. Now, something else that I didn't consider, and I should have, is these are in the wrong orientation. So it's easy enough to fix. We'll fix that in a GIF, but I don't know why I wasn't thinking. I just started laying stuff out, and then I realized, hey, those aren't the right way. But that's okay. It's easy enough to fix. These legs, and then I'm just going to delete these two, and then copy these down to here. Grab that outside point right there. There we go. Okay, now everything's in the right orientation. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put on our top boards here, which if you look at the 2D drawing, it says they're 4 5/8. Now, if you're looking at our plans and you see there's 3 boards here, if we only give you the dimension for one board, then that basically tells you that those are all the 4 5/8. Okay, and the same thing down here. We give you this board dimension. We give you this board dimension of 4 3/8, and then we only give you one dimension of the remaining boards, and that's because the remaining boards are all 5.5. Okay, so so at any rate, that's how to kind of understand that drawing. So let's go back over here, and so we know that we need a board that is 4 and 5/8. And we're going to turn that into a component. And then we're going to move this bad boy out here. That's 4 and 5/8, but this dimension is not actually 4 and 5/8. Okay, that dimension is 4 and 3/4. And so we'll go ahead and draw that. Now, for the sake of the drawing, I don't normally, I wouldn't say, oh, this one's 4 and 3/4, and that one's 4 and 5/8 and 4 and 5/8. I know I got to cut 3 boards, and what I do in the real world is I will go ahead and cut these down to 4 and 5/8, take a real world measurement, and then I will make that board whatever the width is of the actual product that I'm building. Now down here, we know that we need 4 and what did I say that was? 4 and 3/8? Yes. So we need 4 and 3/8. So I will just come in here and make this 4 and 3/8, 4.375. Now this board, I'll go ahead and give it a thickness of 5/8 of an inch. Now this board down here is sitting back behind there, and it shouldn't be. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this out an inch. Well, we could push it out 5/8. That we could do that, but then we're going to come out another 1/2 inch, and that's just how I normally make that. So same thing back here. We will push this out to 5. We'll start at 5/8, and then we'll push it out an extra 1/2 inch. Okay, and that is how we'll make that board. So this board then becomes 15 inches. So it's 1 inch bigger than whatever the top is. And that's just how I've always done it. So we'll go ahead and make that a component. And I'll just zoom out here. And then we can move this down to here. And then we know that the rest of the boards are 5/8. So we'll go ahead and we'll make this, we know it's 15 by 5.5. We will push this down 5/8 of an inch. We will make that a component, and then we will copy it over, I think 5 times? No. So something isn't right. Let's see what isn't right here. So that's 4 and 3/8. That's 4 and 3/8. That is 5.5, but this is not 5.5. 3 and 3/4. Why? Let me go back over here. Aha! See, devil's in the details. I didn't realize that I had made a mistake. This is our side view, so our front view should look like this. So that's our leg thickness. So let me go ahead and put this like it's supposed to be, because that will make a difference. So let me just go ahead and erase all of that, because that's not how it's supposed to be. Okay, we'll try this again. So we'll go ahead and get rid of our smaller boards there. So all of those are 5.5. So we'll slide that over. And then this can come over one more. And I'll show you what we do here. So this can come over one more. And let's see, first of all, what that distance is. Okay, that distance is 1.5 inches. So, what do we want to do? That would be 3/4. I don't think, I like to have these, when I put them together, when I'm building these, I do like to have all the boards touching one another. I don't want any gap, because when the wood dries out, it will shrink up just a little bit and it'll give us a gap. So because this is only 1.5 inches, this is what we're going to have to do. This is what I'm going to choose to do on this one. Is I am going to take these 4 and squish it down to that. So 2 of these on the ends are going to be 3 1/8 and 3 1/8. And then on this end, down here, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so we'll have 3 1/8, 3 1/8, and then all 5.5-inch boards. Because I don't really want to take the time to cut every single board going across there, so we're just going to do the 2 ends. And I think that'll be fine. So we'll go ahead and do it that way. So that's going to be 3 1/8. And if we want to, we could add a little line to say, okay, those 2 are going to be 3 1/8. And then we can copy this all over to here. We'll flip it around. Then we'll flip this back around. So we do something like that. And then we'll know that this is 5.5. And if we wanted to, we could go ahead and do this too. To say, hey, these are all 5.5. Something like that. Okay, if you wanted to differentiate that a little bit more. So back over to our model then. This, we have to make a 3 1/8. So it is, we'll move it over 5/8. And what that does is that gives us 3 3/4. So if we move it over 0.75 and then we'll move it back out 0.125, then that will give us 3 1/8. Okay, and when we change one board, the other board automatically gets changed for us. Isn't that convenient? Because it was a copy of that original board. So we'll go ahead and move this, make a copy of that, and then we can slide all of these down. And then that's still where it's supposed to be. So now we can go ahead and move that. And there we go. Okay. So that gets most of it. Now I am going to just create a couple layers here. And we're going to call it top boards. And we're going to call this layer bottom boards. Normally when I'm creating this 3D model we give you with our plans, and I should point out too that I plan to give this plan away for free. So if you want this particular plan, there will be our email address at the end of this video, and in this listing description, just ask us for this free plan and we will send it to you. So this is a freebie. But at any rate, when you get your 3D models, we will have, normally we would have these layers, and we would also have scenes made for you. And I won't get into scenes in this particular video, but layers are quite useful, as are scenes. But what we're going to do is we're going to change this layer to top boards, and then we're going to change all these items to bottom boards right here. And we could add legs. We could do that. Let's go ahead and just do that quick. And then let's do fascia. I'll call them fascia boards. So these will be our fascia boards, as are these back here. Not that one. Don't want to grab that one. There we go. So we'll do fascia boards. Okay, so what by putting these things on different layers, we can actually turn off layers that way. So we didn't grab that one, so we'll make that a fascia board, then that will disappear. So all our fascia boards will disappear. We'll turn off our top boards. See, and I didn't make that middle one a component, so I'll do that quick. And top boards. So now when we turn that off, all of our top boards go away. Now there's one board here on our fascia board. This is not supposed to be a fascia board. There we go. So now it's just the 4 boards. We'll get rid of our bottom boards. We'll get rid of our top boards. Now we just have the legs, and then we'll do side fascia. So these 4 will be our side fascia boards. There we go. So then you can kind of see, okay, so the first thing, so when we go to build this, what we're going to do is we've got our 2 legs. Then we're going to add our side fascia boards with a few staples and some wood glue, 6 inches up from the bottom and flush at the top. And then we're going to do our, I'm going to actually change that to front and rear fascia boards. Give you a little bit more specific. So then we'll add those front and rear fascia boards to the process. And now we've got to add one more component. And that's the reason I did all of this, is we're going to add one more component. And the component that we're going to add, let's first of all find out our dimension is here. So we have 45 and a half. I'm going to pull up my calculator here. So we have 45 and a half. I'm going to put in 3 boards, I believe. So we got 45 and a half. Is that what I said? Yes. So we'll go 45.5 minus 4.5 equals, and we'll divide that by 3, and that'll give us 13 5/8, 0.625. Close enough. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over from this point 14 inches. And, when it gives me all those 14 3/8 and all of those, I just round it to the nearest inch. So anyhow, we're going to come in here with a 2x3. So a 2x3 we know is 1.5 inches thick, and it's 2.5 inches. So it's 1.5 by 2.5. So we're going to go ahead and make that a component, and then we're going to flip this around here. So from here, we're going to come out 14 inches. I said 3 boards, but I changed my mind. I'm only going to do 2 boards. Did I do that right? Something looks off, but 14. And this is 14. Now this is going to be 1.5 inches smaller than 14. See, that's 14 and a half, or it's 1.5 inches bigger. So that's close enough for what we wanted to do. Okay, and then and then we're gonna do the same thing up top here. So let's go ahead and just kind of recap how we're going to build this thing. So first thing that we're going to do, let's see here. We'll get rid of our side fascia boards. And oh, we got some new boards. So we'll put top and bottom support. So we'll do top support, and then we will do bottom support. Okay, so we will go ahead and put these two on our top support layer. Right there, and then we'll put these two on our bottom support layer. Such right there, and we'll go ahead and just get rid of those. And then we'll start with our legs, okay? And so that will be our first scene, step one. And then we'll go back to our layers. And then we're going to add our side fascia boards. So we're going to make, and that will kind of be step two. So we're going to come up 6 inches, and we're going to add those 2 boards. So we'll add a new scene. And then we're going to add our front and rear fascia boards. So that will be our next scene. And then we're going to add our top support boards. So that will be our next scene. And then we're going to add our bottom support boards. Right? So that will be our next scene. And then we're going to add our top boards. Let's see, bottom boards. We'll add our top boards here. And that will be our next scene. And then finally, our bottom boards. And that will be our next scene. Okay. Now, if we wanted to, we could then make this an animation. So we will, there's our animation. And if we hit play, it'll kind of go through the steps automatically for us. So that's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, and then finally step 7. Okay? So that is how we can utilize SketchUp to create, and I'll actually come in here, instead of just scene 1, we would change the name to step 1, step 2, etc., etc. Okay, we'll come back down here. There's scene 7. So anyhow, in the 3D model, you'll have scenes, and it'll show you each step of the construction process if you want to work through it all. So it'll just be a real easy process for you to get familiar with the product that you're building before you actually go and build it. And of course, we're going to refer to our 2D drawing for all of our necessary dimensions. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save this as a Fence Picket Sofa Table. And there you go. So again, if you want this particular set of plans with this 3D model, just feel free to give us an email and let us know that you want this free plan, and we'll get it sent over to you. Our email address is at the end of this video and in the listing description below. And again, if you want to see more of this type of content, please comment and let us know that you enjoy this content. We'll continue to make it in future projects. I enjoy making these kinds of videos, so if it's something you want to see more of, definitely let us know. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do. We're trying to get to our next level of 1,000 subscribers. We've been at this for about a year now. So we're not quite to 1,000 subscribers yet. at the recording of this video, we were right around 900. So we've got a little ways to go. So if you are a subscriber, maybe tell somebody else that we've got some good stuff to share. So we need to get to 1,000 subscribers, and then YouTube will send us a couple of dollars every month to help us keep going. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.